It was an old house with peeling paint and a broken porch swing. The kind of place where the past lingered like cobwebs in the corners and secrets whispered from behind the floorboards. It was here that 12-year-old Lily and her little brother Sam had discovered an antique doll tucked away in the attic. Lily had always loved dolls, but this one was different. Its porcelain face was marred by a single tear that traced a path down its cheek. The doll's name was Serafina, and it seemed to stare back at Lily with an eerie intensity, as if it were trying to convey a message from beyond the grave. As soon as Lily laid eyes on the doll, she felt a strange connection to it, a pull that she couldn't quite understand. She took Serafina downstairs and introduced her to her brother.
Ah! Look, Sammy, we found a doll up in the attic.
But when she turned to show him the doll's face, she saw something that made her blood run cold. One side of the doll's face was stained with what looked like dried tears. At first, Lily thought it was dirt, or perhaps some clever trick of the light. But when she wiped the doll's face with a cloth, the mark came off, revealing pristine porcelain beneath. It was then that she noticed the other side of the doll's face was also clean, as if someone had carefully wiped away the tears. Intrigued and slightly unnerved, Lily decided to take Serafina to her room. As she climbed into bed that night, she placed the doll on her bedside table, and as the moon cast its silvery light through the window, Lily swore. She saw the doll's lips move. She sat up in bed, her heart pounding, and stared at the doll in the dim moonlight. Was it just her imagination playing tricks on her? Or was there something sinister lurking behind the placid porcelain mask? Suddenly, she heard a soft sob coming from the doll. Lily froze, every instinct in her body screaming at her to run, but she couldn't move. She was rooted to the spot, staring at the doll as if mesmerized by a hypnotic spell. Then she heard it again, a soft, mournful cry that seemed to echo the sorrow of 1,000 lost souls. Terror finally gripping her, Lily scrambled out of bed and raced to the window. She had to get away from that doll, its haunting sobs echoing in her ears long after she had fled. The next morning, Lily woke up feeling shaken and unsure if what she experienced the night before was real or a figment of her overactive imagination. However, her mother, ever attuned to her daughter's moods, sensed something was amiss. "Lily, sweetheart," her mother began gently, "you haven't touched your breakfast. Is something bothering you?" Lily hesitated, torn between her desire to confide in her mother and the fear of being dismissed as a hysterical child. After a moment's pause, she finally spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. "I think I heard a ghost last night." Her mother's eyebrows shot up in surprise. "A ghost? Are you sure?" Lily nodded, her eyes downcast. "I don't want to talk about it." Her mother, though initially skeptical, couldn't help but feel a chill down her spine. The old house had a reputation for being haunted, and she had often dismissed Lily's stories of strange occurrences as an overactive imagination. But now, sensing the genuineness of her daughter's fear, she decided to investigate. As she followed Lily to the attic, her mind raced with questions. Could there really be a ghost haunting their home? And if so, why had it chosen to reveal itself now? Meanwhile, Sam, oblivious to the ghostly encounter his sister had described, was playing in the garden. He had no idea that the doll he had teased Lily about had a secret of its own. As Lily and her mother searched the attic for clues, Sam wandered into the house. He walked past the open window and straight towards the doll, which was sitting innocently on the bedside table. He picked it up, not realizing the danger he was courting. "Let's play with the sad doll," he said with a mischievous grin. And he proceeded to wipe off the doll's face with a cloth, smearing the porcelain. A faint glow emanated from the cloth as it came into contact with the doll's skin. Unbeknownst to Sam, this seemingly innocuous action had unleashed a malevolent force. The doll's eyes, once vacant, now burned with an eerie, otherworldly light. A low growl rumbled from its throat, a sound that sent shivers down his spine. Suddenly, the room grew frigid, and the air crackled with energy. Sam, paralyzed with fear, dropped the doll. It hit the floor with a sickening thud, but it didn't break. Instead, it sat upright, its glowing eyes fixed on Sam. He screamed and ran, the echo of his terror reverberating through the empty halls of the old house. His cries for help went unanswered, as he desperately tried to escape the wrath of the vengeful doll. As Lily and her mother returned from the attic, they were met with a scene that made their blood run cold. The doll was glowing faintly, and Sam's terrified screams echoed through the house. "Sammy!" Lily cried out, rushing towards her brother's room. Her mother closed behind, her heart pounding with a dreadful premonition. What had possessed their son to provoke the wrath of the doll? What would it do next? When they reached Sam's room, they found him cowering in the corner, his eyes wide with terror as the doll slowly approached him, its glow intensifying with each step. "Get away, monster," Sam whimpered, burying his face in his hands. But the doll was relentless, its presence growing stronger with every passing moment. In a desperate attempt to protect her brother, Lily stepped forward. With a determined look on her face, she confronted the doll. "Leave him alone," she shouted, her voice trembling. The doll paused, its glowing eyes fixed on Lily, and a low, guttural voice emanated from it. "You cannot stop me," it hissed. "I am the Reaper, and it is time for you to join me." Lily gasped, her bravery momentarily faltering. But seeing the fear on her brother's face, she steeled herself and stood her ground. Meanwhile, her mother, overcome with fear and helplessness, sank to her knees, sobbing uncontrollably. She watched in horror as the doll advanced towards Lily, its malevolent presence enveloping the room like a shroud. Just when it seemed all hope was lost, the doll suddenly stopped, its eyes flickered, and the glow that had been emanating from it began to fade. With a final hiss, it crumbled to dust, revealing only an ordinary porcelain doll beneath the layer of grime and decay. The Reaper's presence vanished, leaving behind an eerie silence. Lily and her mother stared at the doll in disbelief, unsure if what they had just witnessed was real or a figment of their exhausted imaginations. The ordeal had taken a toll on them, and they clung to each other for support, shaken but relieved. As the first rays of dawn peeked through the window, casting a soft glow on the attic floor, Lily and her mother made the decision to part ways with the doll. They knew that keeping it any longer would only invite more misfortune into their lives. With a heavy heart, they carried the doll to the car and drove away from the old house, leaving behind the secrets and sorrows it held so dearly. Weeks turned into months, and with each passing day, the memory of the weeping doll faded into a distant memory. Lily and her mother had found a new home and a new life, one that was free from the haunting presence of the past. But sometimes, in the quiet of the night, when the wind howled outside and shadows danced on the walls, Lily could have sworn she heard the faint sound of a sob coming from an old abandoned house on the hill. And as she snuggled deeper into her blankets, she couldn't shake off the eerie feeling that she was being watched.